Hello everyone, and welcome to my Royal Family Politics channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. A royal analyst notices a small alteration in Camilla's official title and says, "I told you so." A royal critic noted that the palace had, for the first time in the public eye, addressed Queen Consort Camilla as Her Majesty the Queen in a social media post. After spotting a little but significant error about the Queen Consort's formal title in the official coronation image published by the palace, a keen-eyed royal enthusiast went viral. After noting the palace had referred to Camilla as Queen, matter of fact, a royal expert with 1.2 million followers brought notice to the Twitter post. A few days earlier, the official photograph was released with the phrase, "An official portrait of Her Majesty the Queen following her coronation of May." The TikToker made the following statement in response to the update. "I feel like I am allowed one 'I told you so' moment, and I am taking it. Her Majesty the Queen, rather than Her Majesty the Queen Consort, was used for the first time to refer to Queen Camilla when the royal family unveiled the official coronation portrait of her." The clip author said, "I'd always thought they would switch to Queen Camilla after the actual crowning was finished." She continued by highlighting the main distinction between Queen Consort and Queen Regnant. The former refers to a member who has become queen by marrying the king, while the latter refers to a queen who is ruling on her own. The commentator said, "It's acceptable to refer to whoever that is as queen since the UK only ever has one person who is known as the queen at one time. And that person is either the person married to the king or the person ruling as queen. Their entire system is based on these roles being established and being beyond question. That is the reason I won't let this go." The queen's costume in the photograph was fashioned specifically for her by her go-to designer Bruce Oldfield, according to Mad_of_fact. The couture outfit had flower designs that symbolized the 4 distinct realms of the United Kingdom, and was embroidered in gold on ivory silk. Numerous royal admirers have gushed about Camilla's wish to have an image of her 2 rescue dogs stitched onto the outfit. "Not a big fan of Camilla, but damn those rescue dogs embroidered on the dress," one viewer remarked. "I adore it completely." Queen dodged a last-minute coronation catastrophe as the crown nearly came off. According to reports, the Queen's personal assistants were worried that she wouldn't have enough comfort breaks while practicing with the bulky headpiece. Nick Bullen, a specialist, observed that Queen Camilla looked to fumble a little with her crown when she curtsied to the king. Bullen noted that Camilla appeared as if she might wobble, but otherwise described the coronation service as pretty flawless, despite a few small hiccups. However, he claimed that the Queen swiftly recovered and carried out her responsibilities aplomb throughout. The founder of True Royalty stated, "I was told before that she had been practicing getting in and out of the carriage while wearing the crown. They were worried about when the rest stops would arrive and how long they would have to sit in the church and the carriage. However, I thought they all looked quite well. I believe there was a brief instance when the Queen curtsied to the king and her crown appeared to be a little unstable. But Camilla is so talented, she did it flawlessly and with absolute ease." Bullen remarked that a few more small problems emerged on Coronation Day that weren't present during the ceremony's rehearsals. Although the king and queen were on time for the service at Westminster Abbey, they were forced to wait in the carriage because Prince William and Kate, the Princess of Wales, were a little behind schedule. The Prince and Princess of Wales, Princess Charlotte, and Prince Louis were supposed to enter the Abbey before their Majesties, per the order of service. "I've heard the Prince and Princess of Wales should have been walking in before the King and the Queen," Bold said to US Weekly. "They were supposed to be at their seats first according to the order of service, thus I believe that moment definitely shouldn't have occurred. On the parade-in, they weren't supposed to be behind him. The King and the Queen were left in the carriage at Westminster for a little bit longer than was perhaps anticipated. However, aside from that, I believe everything went rather smoothly." According to royal biographer Omid Scobie's sources, Kate and William's delay was caused by last-minute problems with their two youngest children as they were leaving to go to the Abbey. Harper's Bazaar quoted Scobie as saying, "The room for error was nil." And happily, the day went off without a hitch thanks to the weeks of practice that the royals put in before the coronation. In fact, very few hiccups occurred, with the exception of Prince William and Princess Kate joining the procession late. Children were to blame, a source tells me, and Camilla's ladies in attendance, Sister Annabel Elliot and the Queen's companion, the Marchioness of Lansdowne, accidentally giving her silk Bruce Oldfield dress a bad witchy moment on the way into the Abbey. The King and Queen were supposed to arrive 5 minutes before Kate and William, but they actually showed there 1 minute later. Despite the minor issue, the coronation started up right away, and the delay had no impact on how the rest of the service was conducted. King Charles doesn't want to go to Buckingham Palace, and he might use repairs as a justification. Despite Queen Elizabeth having spent her whole reign at Buckingham Palace, the King and Queen are apparently eager to remain in their home at Clarence House. According to a specialist, King Charles doesn't want to make Buckingham Palace his permanent royal abode. It has been widely stated since assuming the throne that Charles prefers to stay at Clarence House rather than move into the palace, which served as Queen Elizabeth's residence for the most of her reign. Instead, it's anticipated that the newly installed king will divide his time among the several royal residences across the nation. Ingrid Seward, editor-in-chief of Majesty magazine, said the king, in the end, could have to relocate to Buckingham Palace. But she added, "I don't think he wants to." Buckingham Palace, with its red carpets and drapes, is so enormous, impersonal, and large, not in his style. He might decide that it needs to be accessible to the general public all year long. Buckingham Palace was Queen Elizabeth's primary residence from the time of her coronation in 1953 until her passing last year, but it was not the only place she called home. The Queen was reported to feel most at home and at her favorite destination in Scotland's Balmoral Castle. During the epidemic in her later years, she spent a lot of time at Windsor Castle with the Duke of Edinburgh. The remainder of the royal family would then join Her Majesty in Sandringham in Norfolk over Christmas. King Charles might opt to move somewhere, thus the 775-room Buckingham Palace might remain open to visitors for a lot longer. The castle has 19 staterooms, 240 bedrooms, 78 bathrooms, and 92 offices, but is currently undergoing a £369 million renovation paid for by taxpayers. Ministers claimed the building needed an urgent overhaul because it hadn't been updated since the 1950s and could now be at risk of fire or flooding damage. After that, a king-related source informed the Sunday Times that it would turn into a gallery and president's guest house. Traditionally, the public was only permitted to see the state rooms and gardens for 10 weeks each year, while the Queen spent the summer at Balmoral. The insider continued, "The royal collection is one of the greatest private art collections in the world, and it would be wonderful to have it seen by more people. They could stage a lifetime's worth of shows only from the collection. They wouldn't need to look outside for loans." The former chief executive of English Heritage and chairman of the National Lottery Heritage Fund, Simon Thurley, told the newspaper, "I would definitely anticipate it being open more under the king than it was previously. It is set up reasonably well, has a good shop, and the Queen's gallery is superb. It is necessary to schedule opening hours around the necessary events." The king reportedly requested that Prince Andrew leave one of the royal residences on the Windsor grounds earlier this year. For more than 20 years, Andrew and Sarah Ferguson shared a home in Royal Lodge. However, Charles is now asking them to leave so that the Prince and Princess of Wales can move in. Instead, Charles wants Andrew to relocate to the neighborhood's Frogmore Cottage, which was previously owned by Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. Thanks for watching if you liked this video. So please don't forget to subscribe my channel and don't miss any update.